Hi guys, and thanks for waiting. Today, I would like to discuss the Xperia XZ1 Compact, which I've been testing for a couple of days now. So in this video, I'm gonna give you my full thoughts on it and give you guys a full review, full rundown of the device. So let's first start with the design of the device. Like I said, it's a relatively small device. You can see it next to my iPhone. You can see it is very much on the compact side. It is a little bit thicker though than most other smartphones at 9.3 millimeters, but it is noticeably shorter than my iPhone. So if we check out the hardware of the device, on this side we find the flap for the memory card and your SIM card. This device supports nano SIM. On the bottom we've got a USB-C port. The device also supports quick charging. It has a mic. And on the right side we find the volume up and down toggle, which is a little tiny by my taste because I've got big hands, but it should be fine for most people. Then we also have the power button, which doubles as a fingerprint scanner, and the two-stage camera key on the side here. Go to the front, we're greeted by a 720p 4.6-inch screen. We've got dual front-facing speakers, a front-facing camera of 8 megapixels. Then on the back, we find a 19 megapixel camera with an aperture of 2.0, laser assisted focus, and also a flash. And I think this is a color sensor. Also on the back is the NFC chip, which you can see here. Talking about the materials and the feel in the hand, I think it feels nicely in the hand because of the slightly rounded sides. It also got a nice Gorilla Glass 5 panel. Most of the device is made of polycarbonate on the sides and on the back, and the top and bottom are made of metal, so that's funny that they feel like a lot colder and a little different to the touch. Also, what I think is nice, these little chamfers on the top and the bottom of the device really gives it a luxurious high-end feel. Like there's nothing wasted on the device, and it's really been manufactured with care. And especially stands out nice in the silver one. I think it also looks pretty nice on the black one. The device is available in 4 colors. You've got black, the silver one that I have right here for you guys in the review, some kind of rose gold kind of color, and a sort of blue color. So let's get down to the meat and let's explain all of the quirks and features of this device. So if we start with the specs, like I said, it's got a 720p screen that is an IPS LCD screen. Not the sharpest screen you can get on the phone nowadays, but it does the job. And it has nice contrast levels because of the triluminous technology and the X-Reality engine, which boosts colors slightly. And also in the settings, as I'll later show you guys, you can also tweak these settings. The device comes standard with 32 gigabytes of storage, 4 gigabytes of RAM, and the main processor is the Snapdragon 835 that we know from all the other high-ends from this year. Like I said, the device has very nice dual speakers. I've tested those extensively in my preview, so if you want to see more or hear more about that, then please check out my preview. I'll link it in the description. And also it has a nice set of cameras, so it's got a 19 megapixel camera that is capable of recording slow motion up to 960 frames per second. That is insane. And what's also pretty interesting is it's got a wide angle front facing camera of 8 megapixel. So that's a first for Sony, and also not very common on other phones. Like I said, the device also has a fingerprint scanner on the sides. So I press in the fingerprint scanner and it unlocks immediately. I think that's a very smart place to put it because most of the time, whether you have a fingerprint scanner or not, you always activate your phone by turning it on the button, and what's smarter than to make that button double as a fingerprint scanner. So it works very quick, it's very reliable, and very natural as well, because you don't have to search for something on the back or on the bottom, and then it's very nice. The only thing that I've come across is that it's so fast. Sometimes if you just want to see the lock screen, you have to remove your finger very fast just to move it from the lock screen. And then when you put your finger on it, you can see you're in your home menu very fast. So now I want to talk a bit about performance, and I can't do that without talking about the software, of course. The software is Android 8.0.0 Oreo. This is one of the first devices next to the Pixels from Google themselves to run Oreo straight out of the box. And I must say it's been a very smooth experience, very fast. Also very reliable. Really haven't had any issues with lag or crashes or anything like that, which sometimes happen when you have a phone on a new operating system. So apps start up very fast, loads everything up very fast. So that is very nice, because I know some phones tend to lag a little bit when you're on the timeline with your Facebook, but everything just works very fast and reliable. So for instance, let's start up Instagram. Very fast, very fluid. I think I already had it open. Let's try that again. Yeah, so incredibly fast, very fluid with the scrolling, no lag whatsoever. So one of the apps that I know that has it a lot is YouTube. It's also very quick, just an incredible performance. Like I said, it had the potential to be one of the fastest phones. I'll actually show a little cameo from a later video, but I'm gonna pit it against the Galaxy S8, which I had the pleasure of borrowing for a little while, and see how it compares to that one. But I can already say that this one, that the Xperia, really set some new standards in terms of speed for Android. So what I can say is that the good performance also carries onto the games. So let's launch some of them. So I've got a couple of games here. Let's start with a simple one. So you can see that was incredibly fast. So let's just go back out of that game and let's launch something more, a little heavier. So you can see it's incredibly nippy and fast, with even downloading games and other installations. Gameplay is also very nicely done. So that wasn't that very good of me. Let's download another game. Let's load up another fan favorite, Asphalt. This one always takes a little longer now with the new one, because it has to attach your online profile to the game. So it has to connect to the internet, attach to the online profile, and then it goes on with fully loading up the game. You can see once you get going, it's incredibly smooth, good viewing angles, nice immersive sound. The fingers aren't covering up any of the speakers because they're on the front. So this is what people mean when they say stereo speakers are very immersive. So that looks incredible. So let's start up another game. Fan favorite, let me just put the brightness a little lower so you can actually see what's going on. So you can see that also loads up pretty fast. Let's just see if it's on the right display settings, visual effects, maximum. Alright.
Mister, our national game down here, my friend, is digging a big ditch of hope, which will flood into a river of freedom.
Need some driving lessons.
We're almost free, almost, when we are floating away in the Caribbean.
You can see, especially with the contrast and everything looks very nice.
In the sunshine, no school, no tax, free barbecue and pinball for everyone. Sophisticated entertainment. Yes, well, what about the little guy? What about the guy who is standing there saying,
So let's catch another car.
No lo creo, I don't believe that. A business selling flowers to people stuck in traffic. 3 or 4 radios, all turned on to VCTR. A dog, 15 ice cubes. But I don't feel safe. I'm worried about gangs.
So that looks incredible. Very nice graphics. Everything renders pretty quickly, which is something you can see on underpowered phones that that they lag behind.
He could be getting ahead with a minimum wage job and making his parent proud. The dream of America is to live in a duplex and share a yard. Why would anyone want to threaten that great future?
So that looks great. I play this game all day, seriously. So let's go do some multitasking and let's see if it kept open. Subway Surfer. It has. Let's do Modern Combat 5. Yeah. So it has. Cause I died. Let's see. GTA.
And speaking for the underdog, the foundation I set up with my.
Yep. Kept that open. Let's go to Asphalt. Yes, and Asphalt is still running as well. Alright. Let's see about Instagram. Yep. Still open. And Facebook. Nah, see, so it had to reload Facebook. So the heavy apps are being kept open in favor of the lighter ones. So that's actually pretty convenient, and it really gets the maximum out of this phone. So you can just see that
gangs are a valid
switching is effortlessly done. Of course, we got split screen multitasking on this device, but I don't think you can combine that with a game. Let me just check that out. Yeah, so that app does not support it. Instagram should support it. Okay. Well, on this phone apparently it does not. Let's see if we have another menu open. Yeah, we got the Teams open. Oh, but it's very, very strange. So split screen multitasking is somewhat being limited on the XZ1 compact. I think that might have to do with the screen size. So no split screen multitasking with Instagram on Android 7.1.1. Let me just try that on my on Android 8 Oreo on this one, and let me just try if it does the same on my C5 Premium device with Instagram. And Facebook. So, okay, so I think it's a new update with Instagram that they don't want you to use split screen multitasking on there. So when I use something like, let's say for instance Facebook, and Yeah, then it does work. So okay, that must be a new update, because I have seen it work in split screen with other apps before. So needless to say, this device is extraordinarily good and very convenient with gaming, both in terms of performance and experience because of the front-firing dual speakers. Do let me know in the comments if you guys want like an extra large video on just gaming. But I think I've demonstrated in this video that this phone is plenty capable of running all the latest games on the highest settings smoothly, and I think with up to 3 to 5 major apps running simultaneously, where a lot of phones already choke on 2 or 3 of the highest high-end games in terms of graphics. This one does a lot more, and that again comes back to this incredible performance that this phone is capable of. So like I showed you, that was some amazing performance just now, incredible, but all of that comes at a cost of battery, of course. This phone has a 2700 milliamp hour battery, so that is incredibly big for such a small device. And I must say, my hunches were right. It's pretty incredible and pretty solid with battery life all around. So it says here 89%, so about 3 days remaining. I think you will get that if you use the device sparingly. But I think as it is now, and over the course that I've used it, I get a good 2 days out of it actually, with medium to heavy use. It's just incredible. And that number only increases when you use the device a lot more sparingly. So I think I had, let's see, some screenshots up here. So let me just, so that's a little too wide, I guess. Yeah, so this was one of the days that I actually screenshotted a little bit, and it just went incredible. The device is just very hard to kill on battery life, so that's just something you don't see a lot more nowadays, but it still holds true with this device. So 2 days with medium use, and 1.5 days I would say with heavy use. So if you really use it heavy from like 7 in the morning until late at night, so that would mean that you wouldn't have to come back to charge your phone at around dinner time to make it through the night when you go in to a party or have a drink somewhere with friends. This device would just carry you through until like, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 in the morning. So that's just incredible, and that's just not something you find so very often anymore. So the next thing and quirk that I want to go through with you guys is the camera. Like I said, 19 megapixel aperture 2.0, so it's very impressive, and you can actually launch it in a few ways. You can launch it by double clicking the standby button, and you can launch it by tapping and holding the camera button. So it's got a two-way camera button, and what that means is you can actually focus on your subject by half pressing it, so now it's focusing, and then press it in deeper to actually make the shot. Actually, it's not the fastest camera I've seen, but it is up there with above average. So actually, let's tap. Actually, tapping is a lot quicker because with tapping you don't really focus, it does the focusing for you, so that actually makes it quite easy for the camera to actually do to capture the shot faster. So let's just check out some of the options you have here. So you have a self timer, you can adjust the color temperature and the brightness, and actually the lens opening as well. Let's see what else you have. Of course, resolution. So 70 megapixels, still 16:9, so that's pretty cool, very nice. And 19 megapixels, so the full resolution would be a 4:3, so that's a little bit squarish. So that's really if you really want to have a sharp picture, but I think 17 megapixels is a very nice compromise. We go over to more. We've got predictive capture. So I haven't really been able to test that very well because it's just something that you don't really normally think about. But something like object tracking, that is a pretty cool feature. So it'll just track the object wherever it's moving. So that's very nice. So what other features do we have? Of course, we've got safe location. You can turn off grid lines on or off. You can do touch to capture, which I think is always a little cumbersome because you're touching the screen and then you might accidentally make a picture, but if you find it convenient, you can do that. Of course, you can store everything to the internal storage or the SD card storage. And the quick launch is actually you can launch the camera from sleep. So like I just showed you guys, you can launch it from the home screen, but also when the device is asleep. And of course you have your two lock screen shortcuts here. So this is for voice and this is obviously for the camera. So I always find it funny in these reviews that they don't really show all the quirks and features, because I think Sony has a lot of features in their camera software. So you can also go to manual mode, and there you can set the ISO and the exposure. So you can compensate it if you want to do it yourself. I found actually, if I'm honest, in most cases the superior auto mode, as it's called, so that's the image over here, to be quite sufficient. So that's more than enough to do everything you want to do. So we go over to video mode. I know something that has changed in this phone is 4K. So 4K is now in the menu, standard menu with the normal resolutions. In previous Xperia devices it would be a separate app. So obviously a little less options with video, but still plenty to use actually. So you can do exposure, color temperature as well. Let's see. So object tracking also for video. Auto capturing, so that is if you want to launch it from sleep and then let it start recording video. That's very nice if you're on vacation and you really quickly want to catch something. So steady shot, that is Sony's stabilization. So yeah, it's intelligently active, or you can put it on standard. What I found is that it's, if you can see in this clip, that it's pretty, it works pretty well and really compensates for the lack of actual physical obstacle OIS. So here you can also see that you have some different codecs that you can use. I would stick to the H.264 because that's what most systems know, like the Mac and software like Premiere. So I would stick with that. 265 is nice because you can record the same quality, but it costs less space. But unfortunately, like I said, it's not really supported yet by other third parties. So as with photos, you can do save location. You can also take a photo while recording. Let's see, and also grid lines, and also preview when you've just made a photo. I usually don't do that. I like to keep my photos going on, and then when I want to view them, I can just do that by tapping on the side. So I'll lower the brightness a little bit so we can see the screen a little bit more clearly. Here you can see that it's actually it's a little darker now in this room, so you can see that it exposes and compensates quite well. You can still clearly see the good contrast against these bright colors and the black and the lettering that's on them. So that's pretty nice. Focusing is also seems to be pretty fast. Focusing also seems to be relatively fast. So that's something they've really improved on with this device. So another neat feature that I think they have, or what I've already explained, is of course the slow motion function. So in order to do that, we push this button, and then every time you do something, you can you can just do the slow motion. So if there's anything that I want to film, I can just do it like this, and now actually it's doing the slow motion. So it's actually incorporating the slow motion into a normal video clip, and then a segment of that video gets slowed down. So for instance, now we've got this light here and we want to get it in slow motion. We first tap this button. Now it says you're in the super slow motion mode. You can see the lighting exposure gets a lot worse. That's the only negative side I've seen to slow motion thus far. So we film it, we're now in the film mode, and now we can actually tap it and it will slow down the blinking of the light. Play that back. So you can really see that it's so slow that it actually doesn't give the light the chance to turn off. And that's a very neat feature. What I do like about the slow motion is, and that is a testament to the incredible performance of this phone, is you can do it as much as you like, as long as you like. No overheating or seeing other mixed signals or lag or overheating or anything like that. That is pretty incredible for such a small and compact device. The only thing that you really need to take into consideration is really having enough memory, because those slow motion videos, I think they take up about 100 to 200 megabytes every time you slow it down. So that is something to take in consideration, but other than that, that's very good. Another feature that I feel that really does nearly get addressed is the extra camera apps you have. So one of the ones that I like is AR effect, which is now being hyped up by Apple, for instance, but it has been on Xperia, I think, since the C2 or the C3 back in 2013. So let's just try and see if we can get it to work. Yeah, so it looks pretty funny. You can do a lot of cool stuff with it. For instance, you can do the dinosaurs. Now we've got dinosaurs on here, as you can see. It all looks pretty cool. So it's something that Apple likes to flaunt with, but has been available here on Xperia for quite a while, I must say. And really, I haven't really used it much or anything, but it does look pretty darn cool. So I can just tap the dinosaur and bring it over here. So that's really cool. So what's also pretty cool with the AR effects is you can actually make it kind of interactive by drawing on the screen, or even I don't know, setting stuff on fire. So you know, that is pretty cool stuff, and that's pretty elaborate. So in short, the camera, of course, one of the main features is how is the photo quality, photo and video quality. Actually, during the day, the photo quality is good enough to compete with the top of the market. So plenty of detail, nice high dynamic range, good shade casting. It's all there. Pictures look very vibrant and pretty realistic. But it changes a bit when situations get a little bit darker. Not necessarily pictures inside, those are still okay, they can still pass. So they're maybe a little lower, not as consistent as the top cameras in the iPhones and the latest Galaxies. But where this sensor suffers, I think, is because due to lack of actually having physical OIS is in the darkness. So when there's not a lot of light in the scene, then details tends to get a little bit smudged, and it's still usable, but it's not of the same caliber of what you get in again the LG G6, the S8 and higher, and the iPhone 8 devices. Video is also pretty nice. Normal video looks sharp, vibrant, also up there with the best, and as I showed you in an earlier clip, the electronic stabilization is more than enough, does a very good job of smoothing out the picture. And of course, the main feature of the phone, the 960 frames per second, looks incredible and is a very cool feature to have, and uniquely to the latest Xperia phones. The front-facing camera of the Xperia XZ1 Compact is 8 megapixels, and it has a normal aperture and a wide-angle lens, so the quality is also very good on it, very nice for selfies, and also nice video. So all in all, it's got a great camera, but not great in all situations, but it does the job. And if you're looking for good camera phones, this one is certainly among them. So just to round out some of the last quirks and features of the device, like I said, what I was really disappointed with is no double tap to wake. So on the older Sony phones, or even the phones from last year, you've got double tap to wake. So I can just unlock this device, so I can double tap to sleep, double tap to wake it up again. That is just a very nice feature which is unfortunately not present in this build of Android for this phone. And another thing that I found that might be a little bit disturbing, but it's with the storage. So you can see I've got a memory card in the phone, which is all pretty nice. And what I liked from my previous device was that I can transfer the data to the SD card. But unfortunately now data has really been restricted to photos and videos and music, so just files and not to app data. So that is something that is really nice in the C series. If I can just quickly let's just see storage. So here you can see I can just, if I have a very heavy app that I want gone or to the SD card, I can actually do that. And here you can see I cannot do that anymore. So hopefully that'll come back in a new build with an update. But as of now, unfortunately, it is not possible to use the function to store apps to the SD card. So I think the question remains, can I recommend this device? I can wholeheartedly say yes. It's incredible from its performance to its solid built-in design. The screen is not the best, but if you're looking for something that's a little bit smaller, this is currently the best Android phone with a small screen. So that is just incredible and very nice option to have in the market. So yeah guys, this has been my full review of this device, the XZ1 Compact. And I must say I really enjoyed my time with it. Very fast phone, very pocketable as well. I mean, this is the normal size phone that we have right now, 5.5 inches, which is just a lot bigger, too big for some people. And normally you would always have to go to something like an iPhone to have like a good feature set in a compact package. But yeah, you can see actually the compact is a tiny bit tinier than the iPhone is, and that's why for Android users it makes a very good choice, a very logical choice if you want something small but with all the power that any other high-end flagship has. As you saw in this video, with performance, multitasking, it is just up there, or even above the best you can get on Android right now. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope it was worth the wait. And for like I said, if you want to hear some of the speaker sound, because I had some clearance issue with that, that's why I had to do 2 previews actually, because one of my videos got banned for playing a song. I do refer you to my other preview video. Yeah guys, I guess I'll see you guys in my next video, and stay tuned because there's a lot more coming up. Also, if you like this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. That would help me immensely and keep things going.